Alternative spring break is basically the trip that a student would take if they didn't want to take the typical spring break trip on a cruise or, go skiing or wherever, to the beach. Basically, you're taking your week to do something more meaningful, basically to go make a difference in a community that really needs help.
The JDRC, or the Jewish Disaster Response Corps, is a really cool organization. They make trips like ours possible. They try to organize as many people as they can to come to that area and then provide you with the skills you need to make a beneficial difference.
Every year, they pick a new place depending on where the worst disasters are. And so that's why we picked Arkansas this year, is because they went into Arkansas and saw that it was in the most need of assistance. I think because we had such a good experience with them last year is why we picked them again.
So last year was great. We went over to an area near Oklahoma City, and we had several different teams working on different projects. Most of the work we were doing was roofing, taking off old shingles, putting on new tar paper.
We were working on a lady's rooftop that was completely destroyed by the hurricane. And then she also had a horse barn, and we were helping put up the fences, like the fence for the horses, because that was basically her livelihood.
The strength of that tornado was so strong and fierce that it ripped away the timbers from the corral. And these are heavy timbers, so it completely flattened them. And the horses had no place to exercise. And we got to put fencing around and see the horses back in action, racing.
In Judaism, there's something called Tikkun Olam, which is repairing the world. And that's a big part of Judaism, is giving back, helping others to help them in situations if they can't necessarily help themselves. For this trip, the people in Arkansas have been left in a really terrible situation. They've lost their houses, they've lost schools. They've lost some of the biggest, most important elements in their lives. So I think it's very important as Jews that we go out and we help to fix the world.
Kind of like as Jews, we have an obligation of sorts to do that, but to actually do some hands-on work and express Tikkun Olam through our labor means a lot.
Getting to meet families again and hearing their stories, it was really inspirational last year, and it had a big impact on me.
Once we know the stories, it puts our work into perspective. We know why we're there, in a literal sense. You learn that a small change, a little bit of work you can put in, can have an amazing effect on someone. And working in a group to do that, it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, you really leave that place knowing that what you did there was beneficial. And you weren't just doing it, you weren't off on spring break somewhere partying, but you put your time and effort, you sacrificed your spring break for something more than yourself. And something like that, I think, is worthwhile.
Honestly, just the feeling of doing something good for someone else, which is priceless. Yeah, you repaired one roof, it's not a big deal, but for that family, for that person whose house it was, that was their home. So even though it's one house in the grand scheme of things, that was their whole world.